This is the Gary Cantrell Podcast.
Hello there. It's a Saturday morning. It's about 7 a.m. Actually, goddamn, it's 7 a.m. on the dot, and it's cold. I'm not going to lie to you. I usually walk around my house like with little to nothing on, usually just like a pair of shorts, but I'm bundled up right now. I am bundled up. And yes, you get early morning deep voice, Gary. But yeah, it's really, really cold. And I'm waiting for this warmer weather to hit. I actually heard that it was supposed to be nice today. I'm traveling to Baltimore to go see Andrew Dice Clay, legendary comedian, absolute foul mouth, and I love it. Shout out to any of you guys that know and appreciate some good Andrew Dice Clay. So I'm going out there. I don't think he does meet and greets, so the expectations to potentially meet him or get an autograph is extremely low, but you know how that works, guys. I seem to get myself into situations. I was talking with somebody yesterday, and I'm like, yeah, he doesn't really do these kind of things. They're like, I don't know. You seem to have a way of getting in places and meeting people, and it's really by chance. They say that you don't, that you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So there are times where I finally kind of, just decide that, okay, I'm going to take a chance and I'm going to try something, and sometimes it works. So we'll see what happens. This podcast will be out long before I go. Obviously, I'm going to put it right up, and we'll see what happens. But I'm hoping for the best. Pray for me. I mean, the guy's probably going to see me, and like he does with just about everybody, and finds a way to cut him down, which is completely fine with me. Please, I would live for that shit. Let's go. But yeah, so this podcast here is more just kind of like some updates, what's kind of been going on around the Cantrell residence, the Cantrell headquarters, if you will, whatever you want to call it, the Cantrell compound. We can do a million names. It's fine. So most of you guys don't even like notice like, audio stuff, I don't think. But I bought this thing. You guys may remember I bought this device on Amazon that was a vocal processor. This is about a month or so ago. I bought it, actually, it was a little over a month. I bought it the very first week of January. Less than a month in, the freaking thing like blew out on me. So I called Amazon. Unfortunately, I was too late. I called after the refund period, but I raised all sorts of hell in a very polite, strongly worded way, which is, by the way, if you ever have an issue that you want resolved, you do not yell at the people over the phone. You do not curse them out. You treat them with respect and class, but you just make sure that when you bring your shit, it is strongly worded and that you have a legitimate point. And 9 times out of 10, these people will do the right thing. And they're business people. Well, they're customer service people, but they're in the business world, and they know they will make it happen. So you just treat them with respect and class, and you'd be amazed at what you can get done. So I called them and I said, look, I know I'm just out of the refund window here, because part of me was like, maybe it's just got some weird quirk that day, maybe it doesn't like the power strip that I have it plugged into. Like there could have been a number of things. But after like a week or two of dealing with that, I was just done. And I made the call, and they were able to get me a full refund. So I really appreciate that. So what I did was I took that in conjunction with some other money I've been saving, and I basically upgraded to a completely better situation. I don't know that many of you guys will know what I'm even talking about, but I'll put it out there for the few that might appreciate it. I have, it's not here yet. I'm recording on my OG setup here, but it's the Rodecaster Pro. I have friends in podcasting that have clowned me. They're like, why don't you have this thing yet? Like, you literally, you're a tech head like me or whatever. How do you not have this yet? And it's just been something that in the background I had been putting a little bit away, because it's a little more of a big ticket item, but it is, from all the reviews I've read, it is the most legit of the most legit. So it'll be here next week, and yeah, it'll be here. So I'm really excited for it. And from what I hear, they've done a bunch of software updates, and I'm glad I waited so long. I'm glad I didn't impulse buy like a lot of my other friends in podcasting and live video. And I waited, and apparently they got their shit together, and it works a lot better than it did when it came out. So that's awesome. So that'll be your next week, and I'll probably record another podcast on it, and maybe I'll mention, hey, I'm on this new whatever, and I'll let you guys know. Feel very stuffed up, by the way, but I'm not sick. It's when you have allergies and sinus problems like I do, you literally wake up every morning with a bunch of garbage in your body, and you just have to blow it all out. I mean, it takes like an hour to like fully get it, all blown out. But yeah, it's just, oh God, it's the worst. So I'm doing my best here. So updates. Okay. Yeah. So updates. That was the equipment update that you guys got there a minute ago. And now let's talk about some health and fitness type based updates, which is why a lot of you are here. I realize I'm trying to walk that balance, by the way. It does say Gary Cantrell podcast on it. And a lot of the people that I talk to are from the, health and fitness community on Instagram, most specifically a place I am not familiar with lately. We'll talk about that as well. And so, we try to talk about some of that stuff, but I really, in some of these interviews that are going to be coming out, in the future, because I know I work so far ahead and I get clowned for it, whatever. I'm prepared, and I got to tell you guys that I'm trying to walk that line a little bit better as far as, what I'm talking about in these chats. And, I recognize that when I first started doing this format in 2017, almost 3 years ago now, it'll be 3 years in September since I started this format. And I realized how far it's evolved, because it very much used to be like your quick pleasantries and then right into the, well, how'd you get fat, and how'd you lose the weight and blah, 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 blah. It was like a freaking template, and I stuck to it because I thought it went very well. And over time, I just realized that, I think there's more to these people. And especially because on Instagram, a lot of people tend to only post the fitness stuff. I want to know more about them as much as they're willing to share. And so all I can say is that the latest batch of ones that I've done, like in the last few weeks, plus the ones that are coming up, really, I think they walk that line very nicely. And I think that you find out a lot more about these people than they probably even put on their own page. And that is a conscious effort continuing to go forward, that I will continue to evolve and try to deliver the best show. There's a lot of options out there now, and versus when I started, and I am recognizing of that. And I'm excited for this this time in podcasting where everybody's kind of jumping on board and getting involved. But it makes me realize I got to keep this stuff good. I got to keep it, exciting. So, I feel extremely confident about the stuff that's coming, and I think you guys are just going to love it. So I'm thrilled about it. So that's a quick podcast thing. So health and fitness. So, I recently changed my schedule again. Yes, I know. I have commitment issues, and I'll be the first to tell you. I won't hide and pretend like, everything's perfect and everything's right. No, I have commitment issues. And I truly will continue to change stuff until I feel that it is absolutely right. And so with that being said, one day in the last 2 weeks or so, I kind of got this bug up my ass. Like, what if, I always think in the what if. I'm like, okay, so right now, what are we doing? We're getting up at, 2:45. We're at the gym by 4, out of the gym by around 6 or just before. And then usually I'm rushing to go to the store to get groceries for the week at work, which I want to talk about some of the food stuff too. And then I'm putting that out there because I know if I forget it, then you guys will hopefully come back to me and say, hey, what about the food or whatever? And then I'm at work. I have to be at work by 6:30. So the mornings can get a little bit crowded. And I mean, I was doing it. It was fine. It wasn't, I don't think it was like detrimental to my life or anything. Like I did not, there were times where it started to get a little bit annoying, but I could still do it and function and be okay. But then it dawned on me and I was like, okay, this is that moment where you realize, is everything, is it tweakable? Can I fix this? Can I change that? What happened? What if I do this? Okay. So then hear me out. So what if I leave work and instead of driving all the way to my home area, which is over an hour and a half away to go to the gym over there, what if I go to the gym that's 5 minutes from my job right next to my work, that I have been going to early in the morning? Well, Gary, if you do that, you're going to be sitting in a lot of traffic. Well, I debunked that. I think at most that it's maybe added 15 minutes to my commute going this way, but I figured out a few hacks along the way. So I will say this. I get to the gym right after work. I'm usually on a machine by 3:15 usually. And I noticed that if I can get to the gym right after work, I'm still not exhausted yet. That exhausted period doesn't come until after I've been sitting in the car for an hour, frustrated at this god-awful traffic and this god-awful area that I need to get the hell out of. Patreon.com/Gary Cantrell. Sign up for the show. Hardworkalwayswins.com. Buy some shirts and let me do this podcast shit full time so I can get the fuck out of Virginia because it is messing with my health. So I get on a machine by 3:15. I am off the machine by around 4:30, give or take. It usually takes me a little over an hour to get my 1,000 calories, which is what I shoot for at every workout. That's just my number that I like to see. And that's 1,000 active calories, by the way. And if you're Apple Watch, I should clarify that. And then I get in the shower. I get my hot shower. So I still get my second shower of the day, which I have grown to love. And especially as a bigger guy, you really appreciate those showers. Fellas, where you at? We stink at times. No matter what we do, it's bound to happen. So here's where the hacks come in. I just remember like during the summers, how much comfortable I felt just like in a pair of shorts and a pair of flip flops and just kind of that lounge around kind of feeling, or if you're at the beach or walking on the boardwalk or whatever the hell. And I said, okay, what if I do this? One of the things about sitting in that car after work is you're still in your work clothes and, work clothes, for lack of, but it's just like, they're never like 100% comfortable, right? I mean, I can't be wrong in that. Like, I guarantee you, most of you listening have, your regular outfits that you wear outside of work that are probably a lot more comfortable. Listen to me. I'm a guy talking about outfits. But no, it's true. So, I would always feel like, just like crap wearing this stuff. So, I said, okay, what if, you just throw on like some basketball shorts, flip flops, and a hoodie because it's cold, or, when it gets warmer, it'll be a t-shirt. And then, so by the time I get in this car after this shower, after this workout, after this long day, I'm going to feel as relaxed as I possibly can feel. And the answer is it works for me. So you are about to enter this really bad traffic situation. It can be very stressful. The people here in the area are not helpful. They're all out for themselves. And, it just sucks. So I get as comfortable as I can possibly be. And then, so when I am, When I am sitting in this car, I'm comfortable, and it makes the drive a lot less stressful. As a result, when I get home, I'm not rushing to bed at 8 o'clock like I was, which is also a bonus. And, I'm able to sleep 2 hours later every morning. But here's the unintended side effect. So my body still wants to go to bed around 8 o'clock. So generally, rather than forcing myself to lay in bed and lights out at 8 o'clock, I'll go in the bedroom, I'll watch, some TV, and my body will just naturally fall asleep, usually between 8:30 and 9:30, which is wonderful. So, and by the way, anything before 10 is extra sleep. If I were to say, okay, I'm going to stay up until 10 and then get up at 4, it's the same thing as going to bed at 8 and waking up at 2. It's literally the same thing. So I'm actually getting more sleep now, which is a good thing. And then so tying that into how, my phone and making a better effort to, just have better mental health and focus. So on the iPhone, yes, the iPhone. Okay, I'm not going to clown you Android people today. I'm still waking up, so I'm not going to do that. But on the iPhone, they have a whole section called screen time. And you probably heard me talk about this with people on the podcast before. And I remember the podcast I did with Chase. I know we talked about it, and there was a couple other people, but Chase is the most recent one. So that's why I remember that. But, and hi Chase, if you're listening. So in this app, in the screen time app, you are able to tell your phone that from a specific hour to a specific hour that you want to shut it down. Let me open up this app right now and I'll tell you. Okay, let's see here. Settings, screen time. I'm actually down 20% from last week. How about that? So they'll show you what your average screen time is for the week. And then they have app limits, which you can set times on. And before I left Instagram, I had it set for about 2 hours a day, which I was still struggling to stay under that, but it'll get better. I'll explain in a minute. But right above the app limits is something called downtime. And so you can turn this feature on. And once you turn it on, you have the ability to, if it's going to be the same times every day, you can just toggle every day. Or if you're like me with a certain schedule, you can customize the days. So I have it set, and I actually need to update these. So I'm going to update these after I get done with the podcast. But on my previous schedule, where I was waking up at 2:45 a.m., I had like Monday through Thursday set to turn downtime on from 8 p.m. until 2:45 a.m., which means that I was not going to get any notifications whatsoever. It was going to shut down my apps. The phone stays on because I use my phone as my alarm, but I had it set. Let me just update these really quick. So I'm going to say 10 p.m. Let's see here. 10 p.m. Now, mind you, I usually fall asleep before this, so that's why I feel comfortable setting it at 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. And then we'll set it for 4 a.m. That way, by the time I wake up, I'll have, whatever, if anybody was trying to reach me, I'll have the notifications, on deck, ready to go when my alarm goes off at 4:20. I set it for 4:20. Technically I should be getting up at 4:30, but I set it up at 4:20 because I tend to drag ass in the morning, and I gave myself like an extra 10 minutes just to kind of get my act together. So let's see here, 4 a.m. But I'll set the downtime to go off at 4 a.m. So that way, like I said, the notifications will be ready to go. All right. 4 a.m. that's set. So 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. Monday through Thursday. The weekends, I just have it turned off because I'm usually up to all hours late at night anyway. So that's going to be the schedule. But so far, and I know I'm still kind of in the middle of this thing, so I don't want to, proclaim this to be the winning formula, because I know me and I have commitment issues, and goddamn, I'm going to probably change my mind in 3 months, but whatever. For right now, this is working. And there's not a lot of downsides to this particular schedule. It puts things like, Wednesday night there's wrestling on. And so it puts that back on the table. Now I could, in theory, stay up until 10 o'clock to finish AEW. But usually I fall asleep before it's over. But still, I now have the leeway to do that. And right now I'm doing workouts Tuesday through Friday and adding sometimes a Saturday. I am just not going out today because it is so freaking cold. Like, I'll just do some yoga at home and be done with it. But as far as like gym time, I'm trying to get that minimum of 4 days in every single week. And like yesterday, I had to visit a friend in the hospital. And so yesterday I only went for about 40 minutes of the hour that I normally go, or hour plus, I should say. And I burnt probably a little over half of what I normally burn. But, you work these things in, you figure out the time that works for you. And that worked for me yesterday. And I got to the hospital, I got to see my friend, and everything is fine. He's going to be fine. So what do we cover? Oh, the food. Okay. The food. I actually talked about this in a podcast I taped a couple of days ago with Morgan, and that's not going to come out until April. So might as well talk a little bit about it here. I'm still doing my Raisin Bran with the bananas in the morning. To me, that just tastes so good. I cannot run away from it. It's just so, I talk about commitment issues, and I talk about how I tend to change my mind on stuff. But for some reason, when I bite into that, the crunch of the Raisin Bran mixed with the sweetness of the banana, it just, it's unmatched. I cannot mess with that. But the lunches have changed up a little bit. And so, for the last couple of weeks, I've been doing salads every single day, and the salads are fine. I will go back to the salads, but I'm trying to alternate for the lunches, because I noticed I was kind of getting sick of for some reason, I don't get sick of breakfast, but I get sick of lunch. And I know at work, there's like a week out of the month where they cater in food, which is fine. And I'll just eat whatever they have, just a respectable portion, basically, which also ties into going to the gym a couple of hours later, because then I'm burning some of that off, or, hopefully all that off. But sometimes I overindulge, and that's just who I am. So I'm taking a break from the salads for a couple of weeks, because I was trying these new, they're new to me, these new Healthy Choice frozen food. You can find them at Walmart. They're called Healthy Choice. They have different ones. They have like the cafe steamers, the power bowls. What's the other one? Simply Steamers. Yeah. So Simply Steamers, cafe steamers, power bowls. So far this week, I've tried the meatball marinara, which is, what does that say? Hold on. I had to zoom in on the picture of the box I took. 280 calories for the entire box. Just phenomenal. God damn it, it's phenomenal. Barbecue seasoned steak and potatoes with all sorts of vegetables mixed in there, and some barbecue sauce. That was 260 calories for the entire meal, which is pretty awesome. And then I had the 4 cheese ravioli and chicken marinara, which is only 240 calories for the whole thing. That was amazing. And then I tried this power bowl that I probably won't get again, because it just had a lot of random shit in it that I didn't like, and it was 330 calories for the whole bowl. And there was some good stuff in there, but I didn't like all of it, so I'm not going to get that one again. But these, and look, I get it. There's a lot of people out there that could potentially be listening that are following, the things, like they're following things more in depth, like the macros and all this other, like more in-depth stuff. I look at things on a very surface level, like just the calories for right now. That is working for me, because I just need to know how many calories, because I'm entering it into MyFitnessPal. Is it perfect? No. But for right now, as a guy who does have issues with, all of the above, I'm working on it, and I'm making a great effort, and I feel better mentally for it, because, you know, I'm like, okay, Gary, you can have this one box, you know, and it's like, what did I say? 240, 260, 280, I think was the 3 meals. And that to me is good. And I'm training myself to, you know, feel like that is enough, as opposed to kind of the overindulging where I'd have like a salad and maybe a bag of chips or something, you know, trying to work in like a little snack after I work out in the recovery phase. Cause, you know, once you work out, you're obviously flushing a lot of this shit out. And so as a result, you know, you feel hungry again, and there's only so much water you can chug, that's going to replace that feeling of being hungry. So, but I've been keeping it, you know, a little bit more under control, and it's just these weekends that I really want to get a little bit better under control with. I find myself eating less on the weekends, but the things I eat are heavier. Like when I say eating less, I mean less meals. Obviously, on sometimes it's not less food, because there are times where I overindulge on the weekends, and that's all mental shit, man. I just need to get around that, and I will. I'm confident. I mean, I am self-aware as self-aware can be. I know exactly, like I can look, you know, I'm a guy that gets on the scale every day just for informational purposes. And I look at the peaks and the valleys, and I know exactly where the spikes come from. And so it's these weekends. I will literally drop anywhere from 5 to 10 pounds in one freaking week, and it will spike right back up on the weekend, when I am eating like a freaking maniac. But all in all, I'm kind of like maintaining. I'm hovering between 298 and 306. That's really where I'm about hovering right now. And you know, I'm okay. I'm not bitching or complaining about that. I'm not sitting here saying, God, I wish I weighed 50 pounds less. There's none of that. I am just I don't want to say content, but I am in a spot where I'm aware of the situation, and it's baby steps. I'm not in a hurry. I have no one to impress. I'm not even on Instagram right now, so I can really give a shit about trying to impress people. I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'm just trying to live my life, man. I'm just trying to live my life. And right now, after the last couple of weeks, I'm starting to get that mental clarity back, which is what I was really lacking. And so that goes into the final thing, Instagram. I've had some people reach out via text message or Facebook. Some of you I've got on Facebook, and I just really want to say, before I say anything else, I just want to say thank you so much to those who have reached out. I appreciate it. And, you know, I will be back. I said in that podcast like 2 weeks ago, I'm going to take a few days and I'll be back. And the reality was I deleted the app. I kept my account, obviously, but I deleted the app, and I hadn't looked back since. And it was really freeing. It's just like, man, this feels so good. And it's kind of like that thing where like you get hurt and you know, like, okay, I know not to let that happen anymore. And so it's made me rethink a lot of things, honestly, how I approach social, how I interact. And I don't want to say that I'm going to become more closed or more guarded, but I'm definitely going to be rethinking a lot about how I approach social now, just for my own mental well-being. And that's as honest as I can put it for you. So everybody's asking, when am I coming back? Am I coming back? The answer is yes. I mean, it's social media. You have to have a presence. You do. You know, if you're in my situation and you're a creator of any kind, you have to have a presence. That's That's the fact. So I will have a presence. How I approach that presence, we'll see. That's to be determined. I'm going to probably take another couple of days and continue to hammer that idea out. But yeah, I mean, hey, I'm feeling good right now. I don't know that there's anybody that's actually messaged me on the platform. Oh, I know a couple of people that have texted me and said, hey, I tried to get you on Insta. Maybe they missed the podcast that I did. And so, yeah, I will be back. I don't have an exact return date or anything like that, but I will be back. So, yeah, we'll do it. We'll be back, and yeah. All right. So this is what I love. 13 years of doing podcasting. You can kind of realize when it's time to move the fuck on and get out of here. And just like, okay, I'm starting to trail off on the thoughts. So that means that I have nothing more to say. Actually, I do have one more thing to say. So, I just posted yesterday a bonus podcast, a 2013 interview I did with comedian Bert Kreischer. I am trying to get his attention. I do not think that I will actually get his attention, but I am trying to get his attention. So with that being said, if you are on Twitter, I did send out a tweet where I tagged him, and I shared the podcast from 2013. If you could do me the smallest of favors, if you could, either retweet that or reply to it so that he is tagged in it and he sees it, that would be amazing. Or you just share your own tweet where you post, hey, I just heard this interview with Bert on Gary. When are you coming back on Gary's podcast? That was amazing. Whatever it is, I am begging you. He's going to be here in DC in like 2 weeks, and I got to get his attention. But he has millions of followers on every fucking platform, and he's either ghosting, or it's more the latter where he's just legitimately busy and does not see every tweet that comes through. So if you can help me on that, I would appreciate it. I'm trying to get his attention. I want to do a podcast with him when he's here in DC. I listened to that interview and I'm like, fuck, I was so young and I could do a 10 times better podcast with him now. But I don't know if I'll have that chance. So maybe you can help me get that chance. Cool. Finally, March 6th, I'm going to pick a winner for the review giveaway. So if you've not done this already, go to the Apple Podcast app on your phone, iPad, Mac, whatever you have, and leave a review for the show. So, obviously these kind of things, we want 5 stars. So I want the people that genuinely listen. I know that there is a section of you out there that do listen, that do love the show, and you probably just haven't left a review for whatever reason. I get it. It's out of our normal muscle memory, and we're just like, oh, I don't want to deal with it. It literally takes just a minute, honestly, and it's a big help. I'm trying to get 100 reviews by the end of the year. So if you love the show, if you get value out of the show, please head over to the Apple Podcast app on iPhone, iPad, or Mac, or your old PC from 2005 or whatever, and leave a 5-star review and leave, just leave a couple of sentences about what the show does for you. How does it help you? What do you get out of it, and why people should check it out? I see you guys dropping in some reviews, so I appreciate it. But the point is, on March 6th, I'm going to pick a winner. I'm going to give away an Amazon gift card, $25 to one random person who has left me a review. Basically what you got to do is you got to leave the review, and then you wait 24 hours because Apple's going to post it a day later. Once they post it, take a screenshot of it and say, that's my review. And you can DM it to me on Instagram. By the time you do all this, I'll probably be back on the app. Or if you don't want to do that, you can hit me up, Gary@GaryCantrell.com, whatever you want to do. Gary's podcast at gmail.com, whatever you want to do. Just send me a screenshot. I'll enter you in. A couple of you done this already. I really appreciate it. But send me a screenshot. Say, this is me. And you're automatically entered. This goes for people that have already left reviews as well. If you're somebody that left a review 2 fucking years ago, you're still entered. And I'm going to select a gift card giveaway winner on March 6th. Okay, now I'm done. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support of the program. And good God, man, almost 40 minutes. Jesus, I can't believe that one. All right, I'm out of here. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Next week's weekly podcast is with Caitlin at a girl named K _ That's a really fucking good podcast. You guys are not going to want to miss that. Make sure you're subscribed to me on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you get podcasts. If you don't want to wait for that podcast, you are more than welcome to go to patreon.com/Gary Cantrell, and you can hear that podcast right now. All right, I'm out. Thank you guys for listening.